All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Stepp. I am the CIO here at Realvolve. I will be your host. I want to welcome everyone to this webinar on workflows. Today we have Kendyl Young. Kendyl is the owner and founder of Diggs, a residential real estate company in Glendale, California. She's been in the real estate business since 1987. And last time we interviewed Kendyl, Dave indicated that he was in high school. I was actually graduating college in 1987. So one more rub there. Sorry, Kendyl.
Yes, I am a geezer. I get it.
She has sold over 1,000 homes. She has 2 buyer's agents, 2 full-time staff, featured in Inman News, Realtor Magazine. She is well known in this industry, and she really gives back in the form of training and doing things with realtors to make them better. And I've just been really intrigued with what she's been doing. She is a team member here with Realvolve, and I have personally enjoyed getting to know Kendyl. We spent some time together in San Francisco and New York at Inman conferences and stuff. And, you know, she has taken the workflows aspect of Realvolve through its paces, really taking it to the next level. So I want to turn this over to Kendyl, make sure that you guys take good notes. We are recording this, so you can watch it again, but definitely if you have any questions as she goes along, I will try to answer them. If I don't get to yours, I'll definitely email them. So Kendyl, take it away.
Awesome. Well, hello, guys. Really excited to be here and share something that I think could potentially change the very nature of your business and take it to the next level. So, give you a little background. I am a control hungry, detail, OCD, neurotic nut. And if any of you out there share my particular afflictions, you are going to absolutely love what I have to share with you and the tools that Realvolve has to help you organize, automate, and keep your business flowing in exactly the same detail and quality that you want it to, no matter how you scale it. So that's what's exciting to me. And when we get into the workflows, a couple of our team members, they don't like it when I say this, but I really do think that workflows can be really, really difficult until they're not. And what I mean by that is the first time you look at them, they can be intimidating, it might be hard to understand them, and you might be tempted to walk away from figuring out how to use this in your business. And if you can unlock the key to workflows and make them work for your brain, it will be one of the best things you could possibly do. So that's what I want to say to you. It's like they're only difficult until you unlock the key, and then after that, it's going to be like the best magic you ever had. So with that kind of build up, what I want you to understand is this webinar is not necessarily a how to make a workflow. This is the process I went through to unlock my personal key so that I could really leverage workflows in my business. And that's what I'm hoping that I can do for you. So let's kind of get into it. First of all, as Mark said, this is who I am. I'm a broker owner, and the key here is that I'm selling properties just like you. I'm listing properties just like you. I'm doing it right this very minute. In fact, if this webinar goes too long, I'm going to cut you all off because I got to go to a listing appointment. That's how much I'm in the trenches with you guys. This is my website, Glendale Diggs. If you want to check me out, if you want to refer me business, always, always welcome. And that is actually my office. That's where I get to work every day. So here's the thing about workflows. What is a workflow? A workflow is essentially your to-do list on a daily basis or by project basis. A project would be, getting a listing and doing your marketing, right? And so we have a tendency to think of our standard operating procedures, our SOPs, in a nice, straight, chronological line. right? And first you do this, and then you do that, and then you do that, and they all follow lockstep one after the other. But yeah, I don't know if you guys are like me, but my business never looks like this lovely straight line. It tends to look like this. And what I mean by this is that things happen in bursts, and they happen all at once, and then they branch off, and different things can happen. And my business looks more like a many-headed hydra than a lovely, neat, tidy line. So the reason why workflows are difficult to grasp is that every tool we've ever had, going back to the dinosaurs, okay, maybe not that far, maybe just as far as I go, which is 3 decades, every tool we've ever had only allows us to think about our to-do list in a line that follows one after another, okay? So let's start with that. Let's start with the line that goes one after another. The first thing that you need to do in order to create workflows, you need to write down every step. So think about a project, whatever it is. It could be what happens when you meet somebody at open house, and what do you do in order to establish a relationship with this client and convert them into an actual customer, right? So write down every step. And when I say every step, I mean every step. We have a tendency to think, okay, my steps are I meet them at open house, I send them a follow-up email, and then I call them. It's actually not what happens, right? Every step means you met them at open house, you entered them into your database, you sent them a follow-up email, you called them, but you also want to make sure you call them, say, every 5 days, right? And then you probably want to see if your lender can get in touch with them and pre-qualify them. So you email your lender, and then you need to follow up with your lender because you need to make sure they're actually following it. So I mean every step, I mean every step. Get detailed, get granular, get a little crazy like me. So this is what my to-do list looked like before Realvolve. This happened to be a screenshot of my Basecamp account, and it's just a whole list of things. They're kind of chronological, and then I broke them up into little, segments, the setup, the sneak peek marketing. This is my listing marketing setup. And it just kind of went one after the other, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff there. So this is what I mean by every step. Get crazy. Set aside a couple of hours and a bottle of wine if you have to, all right? The next thing you're going to do, and here's where we're going to go with that three-dimensional aspect of Realvolve, right? So 2D, was going through and listing everything line by line by line by line. We've all done that in some form. Some of you have done it on a piece of paper. Some of you did it in WordStar back in the 80s, and you printed it out on a piece of paper, and you've been Xeroxing that puppy since the Eisenhower administration. Some of you have gone digital and have put that into some kind of maybe PDF that you share with your team, or it doesn't really matter. That's the two-dimensional. Now we're going to start morphing into the power of Realvolve, and we're going to start thinking in terms of 3 dimensions. So here's the first step in thinking in 3 dimensions. Now that you've taken your list of everything that you've got, think about each item. When does that happen? And when I mean when as in what does it depend on? Okay? So what do I mean by that? So let's take an example of a listing marketing, because that's the easiest example for me, so that's what I do every day. Listing marketing, let's just say that one of my line items is to create the brochure for the listing and send it to the printer. Okay? Well, I can't do that until I get my pictures back, right? I mean, I can't do that. So my activity of finishing the brochure and sending it to the printer depends on when does the photography happen, right? So I want to think about that. Another one is sending let's see, when I think about it, sending a letter to the seller reminding them about the home inspection that's going to happen. Well, I can't send that letter until we have the appointment for the home inspection, right? So that letter depends on when does a home inspection. So there's lots of things in your to-do list that can't be done until something else is done, right? Okay, so when does it happen, and what does that when depend on? Okay, so now we're talking 3 dimensions. a way of thinking about this, I did this really quick. I didn't fill it all out, but you can think of it kind of like a mind map. So you see that one right in the middle, it says take a listing, and then we've got these 4 green things that come off take a listing: order the disclosures, order the inspections, create a calendar. Off to the right is prepare marketing, right? So when I'm preparing the marketing, one of the first things I have to do is I gotta contract the stager, and I've got to get them an appointment for her. I've got to schedule the 3D scanning, because I do that on every listing, and then we take the stager one. Well, I can't do the photography until I do the staging, so photography goes off of that, right? And then if I were to extrapolate order photography, then like ordering the brochures comes off of that, finishing the website comes off of that, right? And then like order the photography, reminding the seller comes off of that. So if you think of your to-do list not as a linear line, but more of a mind map, you start to understand how things are very three-dimensional in your business. And I think that understanding this three-dimensionality of your business will allow you to start understanding the power of Realvolve, because we actually allow you to codify in these 3 dimensions, whereas every other platform I've ever seen only allows you to just record 1 dimension, one after the other. Okay, so this is a really good visualization of your actual business. Now, the next thing, so we've already figured out what it is that we're doing. We figured out when we're going to do things and what they're dependent upon, what the when is dependent upon. Now we got to think of who. Now, a number of you on this webinar, you're a solo practitioner, you don't have an assistant, you're just starting out, and you're thinking, well, duh, the who was always me. But maybe not, because even a solo practitioner has people in their lives that are going to execute things. You might have a transaction coordinator in your business. You might have a marketing person in your office. You might be lucky like me. I have this escrow officer who's literally the escrow goddess of the world, and she takes care of several things in my business. So even as a solo practitioner, there may be a who that is not you. So think about that. Who would be doing these different activities? Again, 3 dimensions. Okay. Now, how do we codify these 3 dimensions? This is an example of a table, and we have this right in our workflow handbook. And the table has several components. The first thing, starting from the left, is going to be the type of activity. What is it? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? Is it an appointment? Is it a text message? What is it? Then the next column is, okay, what is the activity? What do you need to do? And then the next column is the assignment. This is the who. Who's going to do it? And then the next 4 columns are really, I think, part of the real strength here is how many days, weeks, months, or years before or after your trigger date. Okay? You got to wrap your head around this. This is extremely granular. What this means is that when you create an activity, the activity is only going to show up in your to-do list when you need to do it. Not before, not after, not if it's not relevant, exactly when you need to do it. So I'm going to direct your eye down to the bottom of this list where it says text confirm property is ready for inspection. Okay? First thing that you should notice is that we can do texts on our activity list. That's a really cool thing because SMS texts have a exponentially higher open rate than emails. So if it's something that's really important, short and succinct, you might want to use a text to do it. Confirm the property's inspection. This is telling my seller tomorrow you've got a home inspection. People are going to be crawling over your house. Is it ready? It's ready for that. Are you ready for the inspection? The person who's going to do it is Hannah, my assistant. She's going to send the text. And this is going to happen 2 days before the inspection date. Okay? So this is really, again, an example of that 3 dimensions. It's not just confirm ready of inspection. It is confirm this ready inspection, who's going to do it, the platform we're going to do it on, and exactly when it's going to happen. And that was the key for me. understanding that I could be that granular is what unlocked my ability to start writing workflows for literally everything that I do more than once in my business. This is the cover page for a handbook, workflows. The how to do workflows, it's in this workbook. The how to do workflows, we've got a bunch of videos on it. Unlocking the puzzle, it's understanding that you've never before been asked to think about your business in 3 dimensions. Frankly, you've never been asked to think about your business to this level of detail. We do things so much by instinct and by reaction. But when you run your business by instinct and reaction, you run around all day long, 7 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, with your hair on freaking fire, because that's all you can do. When you do think about things in great detail and anticipate what might happen, you go through your days thinking, should I get a massage later on this afternoon? I think that might be a good idea. Massage in the afternoon is a lot better than feeling like your hair is on fire every single day. So with that, it's kind of like an interview. I just wanted to give you a sense of how I build out a workflow, real quick one. So there are 3 things that you need to have on hand when you start to build a workflow. At least this is what I do. I have one window open that is the workflow window. And so this is a workflow editor, and then I have another window open that is my template editor. I like to write my letters and my texts at the same time that I'm creating my workflow. Some people can break those 2 apart. I can't do it. Okay, so I've got to have both of them open at the same time. And then the third thing that you want to have is your workflow, all of the merge fields that are available to you. Now, where do you find them? You can find them in our help section. So you just open up the help section here, and there's this really cool PDF right here, complete list of merge fields, how-to documents, okay? This is all of the fields that you can use for writing your letters. So these are like the contact first name and contact last name, really important to use as a merge field. Activities, what we can do, and these are broken down into 3 separate kinds of workflows that we can do: contact, transaction, and property. Okay, so each one has their own set of merge fields, and no, you don't get to go across the different workflow types. We got to break them down to keep the system working correctly. So I have this document. I actually have a printed piece of paper because it's easier to flip back and forth. So I have that piece of paper, and then I have these 2 windows open, the workflow editor and the template editor. So let's just take a workflow that I just started working on yesterday, and this is a particular workflow for an open house. And the reason that it's the property address is that I'm still working this out and trying to decide how I want to do this. So I'm going to be holding this open, and the first thing that I did is this send a thank you letter. So somebody comes into my open house, they register in my thing, and I'm going to send a thank you letter. I'm the person who's going to do it. There's no interested parties because I assign this to a contact, so Realvolve knows it's going to be the buyer, the lead that came in. And the schedule when is I want this to happen right away, so it's 0 days after the start date. Start date is always the day that we launched the workflow, created the workflow. And then in the action, this is kind of to start to show you how this is so powerful. This one action is send a thank you letter. Okay, so I guess I have an actual letter that I'm going to send. I want it to be sent immediately. Usually I want to edit this thing, but this one I want to go the minute that I launch the workflow. I want it to be an email message, and the letter that I'm sending is called Irving Thank You. Okay, so if I were creating this one, the first thing I would do is I would create the letter. Okay, so I know I want to send a thank you. I know it is an email. Sorry, so I want to send a thank you, and I know it's an email. So I'm going to go over to my template creator, and I'm going to do the Irving thank you. Okay, so I actually happen to have already written that one.
Just press enter.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. There we go. So, Irving, thank you. So I already wrote this one, and it's using the merge fields. It's like, here's the greeting, thank you for visiting. This happens to be a lease, that's why I'm messing around with this. So I have the application link right here in the letter. So that goes out directly to anybody who wants to apply for this lease. I hit save, and now I can go back to my workflow and attach that letter. So here it is, send thank you. And I've attached the letter, Irving, thank you. I also, at the same time, I want to tag this particular property so that I know if I want to go back and just see, all right, how many people did I send an application to for Irving? I have it tagged 1621 Irving, and so that's going to tag it. So one action, a couple of different things is going on. But you know what? There's a lot more that I'm going to be doing with this, right? So what I want to do next is I want to make sure that I have follow up with the tenant, right? I want to follow up on all of them and just check back and find what's going on. I'm the one who's going to be doing it. We know who the interested party is because, again, it's to the contact. And the when it's going to be is I actually want to follow up every 5 days. Okay, so I'm going to hit the start date of from the last time I called, right? So I don't want to call on Monday and then the next phone call that's supposed to happen is on Friday, but on Friday I'm really, really busy, and so I call on Monday. I don't want it. I don't want to again have it on Monday. I want to go every 5 days. So we're going to calculate everything off of the last time I called as opposed to a fixed 5 days, right? So I'm going to follow up with the tenant. Now I want to make sure that on my dashboard I have all the information I need to follow up with a tenant. So I'm going to have on my checklist their home mobile phone, right? And I want to be able to tell Realvolve when was the last day that I called. So if I actually call, I'm going to put that date in there. So Realvolve knows when the last time I called. And I want to be able to enter in some notes right there from my dashboard. Okay, so we're going to do notes. Now what's going to happen by doing this is that on my dashboard, when I click the follow up with tenant, these 3 pieces of data are going to be right there. I can make my phone call, make my notes, it all is going to go into the contact record. I'm not even going to have to open up anything else but that dashboard thing.
Hey, Kendyl.
So that's a really, yeah.
On that one activity, the follow-up, you set it for 0 days after instead of 5 days after.
Oh, right. It should have been 5. It should be 5 days. Thanks for catching it. And that, here we go. Let's just go put it on there, 5 days, and now it's on there. So we've updated that one in there. To give you kind of an idea of what I mean by when I say write down every activity, not just kind of a thing, we all would think it's a really good idea. Let's pretend right now that this is a buyer. There's an open house for a listing. We all know that we want to send a letter or ping our lender to give that person a call and pre-qualify them, right? I mean, that's just a really, really good idea. I'm the one who's going to be doing it. We want to pick an interested party, so the specific contact right now, I'm sending my buyer leads to Rosa Farrow. Okay, so that's my lender that I'm sending leads to right now. So that's the specific contact. It's going to go to her. The when is 0 days after start date because I want that letter to go out to my lender right away and tell them, hey, you need to do this. And then I'm going to create an action, which is to send the letter to lender. You can set anything you want, and I want it to be an email, and I'm going to send manually. This is the way I prefer to send my emails. I like to review them before they go out. This is going to be an email message. And again, the lender, I've already done this. So I'm going to pick the, send signal to the lender to send that out. So just so you can see the power of our templates, I'm going to show you this particular letter. The signal to the lender is pretty awesome. It gives you a sense of how powerful things are. So I do remember I said I'm going to manually preview this so I can edit it. I have the fields that I need to edit on a case-by-case basis. I have them in red. So insert the lender name because I change lenders, all the time. So insert the lender name that's going to be going out there. And then we're saying we just sent an email to this particular contact, their first name, their last name, suggesting that they contact you. If you want to call them, here is their their contact information, that I put the person's name, their number, their email, telling the lender we're in touch once a week, so let us know when you connect with them, right? So all of this stuff is done. Remember, I often say your day is lost in 5-minute chunks. Calling your lender and saying, hey, can you call this contact and pre-qualify them, takes a hell of a lot longer than sending this email. This email, all you're going to do actually is insert the lender name and hit send. So that's going to be 5 seconds. 5 seconds, a lot shorter than 5 minutes, okay? So that's just kind of it. So we've got that one. That's the lender that's going to go. We're going to save that, and now this is something that's going to pop on our to-do list. It's going to happen. Now, one more thing I want to show you real quick. I'm going to show you how I do this. I want to follow up with the lender and see, did you actually make contact, right? I mean, we wish that we didn't ever have to follow up with people, but you kind of do. Who's the interested party? Again, it's going to be the lender that I'm working with right now, and that's Rosa Farrow. Okay, so it's going to be with Rosa, and we're going to do this as a text, okay? So that's going to be a text. And I'm going to send the text, but first, before I create the action, I need to write the text. So I'm going to pop over to my window here. That's my template editor window, and I'm going to hit New Template. So I'm going to author a new template, and it's going to be follow up with lender. Oops. Ender, okay? And this one is going to be a text. So when you switch it, switches its format right there. It's going to be with a contact, and this is going to see update on, and the contact's first name right there, and then the contact last name, right? Contact last name, and that's it. That's all I want to know. Update us on this person, first and last name. Hit save. Did I hit save? Hit save. Okay, so now that's been saved as a new template. We see it's right over here, follow up with lender. I'm going to jump back into my workflow, and I'm going to add this activity. So it's the action, it's the follow up with lender action with the lender, right? And this is going to be, we're going to send manually with preview, or it could go immediately without. It's going to be a text, and the text message is follow up with lender right there. It knows which ones are texts, and then we're just going to go ahead and save that and add the activity. So that is a real quick example of how I built a very small but extremely powerful workflow on following up with an open house lead and getting them pre-qualified with a lender. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys. I'm open for questions.
Kendyl, the one thing that I do want to make sure everybody is aware of is, especially whenever you're using an activity action that is sending either automatically or immediate, is that for whoever is going to be sending that, in this case, all of these are being done by you. So in your settings area, if you click on the settings emails in the upper right, the drop down arrow.
Hang on a quick second. Let me get rid of this thing. The settings on what? Sorry?
Click on settings and then email.
Oh, over here. Got it. Yes. Settings.
And then emails.
And then emails right here. Yes.
Okay. There are some items in this list. The auto send message, where it says auto send message, it is set to on. Making sure that that is on whenever you're sending automatic emails or immediate emails. That has to be on, otherwise it will not send. And it has to be on for the person that it's assigned to. So if for some reason you decide, well, I don't want to send my automatics for some reason, you can turn it on or off, and it's an override basically to allow you to do that. You can also specify when you want to send your automatics if there's not a time assigned. So if an activity it's set to automatically send a message, and if there's a specific time, say 2 o'clock, it will send it at 2 o'clock. But if it just has a date and it's not specified a time, it will send it at whatever time you have this set at under the on section on there. Once you make your change, make sure you click on the update.
Right. So that would be really key if you're sending like a group message to everybody in a particular zip code. Let's say that there's an open house. That would be automatically sent, and you want to send it at whatever time is going to get your best open rates.
Right. But also, whenever you were showing the very first item on your list where you said you wanted to send that email immediately, this has to be on in order for your immediates and for your automatics to be sent out. If it's not on, it will not send.
Yeah, and I had that challenge once, so it's important to know.
Other people have, and that's why I wanted to point it out. That's been one stumbling block, and we turn that off by default because there are people that say, well, I want to send it automatically, but then they don't realize what that means necessarily, and so by default it is off. So anytime you want to send automatic messages, just make sure that is turned on.
And just for fun, the difference between immediate and automatic. Immediate goes, yeah, go ahead and say.
Immediate is whenever you start the workflow. The very first thing, as it's adding those activities, if there's an activity in that workflow that is set for immediate, it sends it out immediate. Now, it could be within a 1 to 2 minute period, depending on how active the server is at that point, just to let you know. But it tries to send it out immediate. It doesn't look at the date or the time. It just sends it out. If it's set for automatic, then it will look at whatever date that activity is assigned to, and on that date, it will send it automatically for you. It does check before it sends it. It checks to see at what time am I supposed to send it. If there's no time assigned, then it'll send it at whatever time you have specified here in the send automatic messages at section. So that's just the difference. Immediate goes out immediately, where automatic is automatically during a given day, whatever date is specified in that activity.
So I use the immediate, just so that people know, I use the immediate for when I start a workflow off of an internet lead, which what I do is I suck those leads out of my email. They get automatically plopped into Realvolve. The workflow is started automatically, and then a text responder saying, hey, thanks for pinging us. We're going to get back to you as soon as we can, something like that, right? That all goes out immediately, and that could happen at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm dead asleep, at least hopefully dead asleep. So that's how I use immediates. Automatics I don't do, mostly because I'm just too control freaky, and I want to review emails before they go out. That's just me.
Excellent. We've got, okay, one question here is, and I kind of answered it, but I want to make sure that it is right. She asks, how soon after your first contact with the lender do you follow up?
That depends on your particular business. For us, we usually follow up that day it's Sunday open house, the next day.
Okay. From Amy, how or when do you manage inputting your new contacts? You kind of answered that with the zaps, as far as them in. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, there's lots of manual entry for me because my business is very little internet lead generated. Most of my business is actually what I call wet contacts, face-to-face, belly-to-belly. So it's manual entry. There's no way around it when you're meeting them at the doors or at open house. Well, yeah, when you meet them at the doors or at social functions. So for me, data entry happens as soon as I can. And I'll be honest with you, Amy, up until working with Realvolve, doing manual entry on contacts, it was the weak point in my business. It's something that didn't get done, and the napkin that I scribbled the contact on would get lost or used to wipe my lips and then thrown away, and there you go, $1 million listing down the toilet. When I started working with Realvolve and with having my workflows, the value of doing the data entry was exponentially higher because so many things happened once the contact was input that was automatic, and in my case, because I do have a company and a staff, delegated, that my motivation to do data entry has changed completely. And it's hard to explain why that's going to change for you just because it's Realvolve and not, CRM X. But it does. There's so many things that we don't do because we're not 100% confident that it's going to pay off. But if we're 100% confident it's going to pay off, you do it, right? So it's a long answer to your question, Amy, but I think it's really important.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, the next question, and this is one actually I probably need to answer, is will text responses come back to your cell phone, or will they go to just the contact? And the answer is kind of yes. They go back to the contact, but they also can go to your cell phone and also to your email. One thing that we've changed just recently, if you go into settings, just want to make sure you guys are aware of this. Under the SMS services area, whenever a message is sent back to you, click on SMS services. There is now 2 checkboxes in there. One is to send it to your email address that you've specified, and the other one is to send it to your current cell phone or whatever you currently use for your SMS number that's in your My Account settings. So whenever people text back, it can now go either or both places, just so that you know that one.
Cool.
Didn't know that, did you? That's brand new.
No, I didn't, and now
that is brand new. We are working on some additional features on that SMS. There are some drawbacks to that. Whenever they reply back, it actually shows up with your outbound number, but it has their phone number, their name in the response so that you can get to them. We're working on a way to get around that. So hang tight. We'll be getting to some more of that as you go along. If an auto message is not sent, do you get notified? This is from Pam Wagner. Pam, there is a little notification that kind of pops up on your window at the top, but it doesn't notify you as well as we should. We have a notifications area that we probably need to put that in there, but if it doesn't go out, it won't complete that activity. So unless there's not a person assigned to it, it should go out, just to let you know that. But I hear your question, and I think I need to look into that a little bit better. Can a workflow be copied to several properties? Absolutely. That's whenever you create a workflow, you're actually taking and creating a template. So whenever you start a workflow, this is for Susan Knight, whenever you're starting a workflow, you're starting a template that you've preset up, and it creates copies of that workflow into each of the properties that you assign it to, properties, transactions, or people. So definitely whenever you're doing that, it's making copies as you go along. When it comes to a listing workflow, how do you sync the workflow to specific address in Realvolve?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the same concept. So
yeah,
what I think we're missing here is the idea of what a template actually is. You write the workflow once, and then you apply that as often as you like.
Yeah.
It's evergreen, right? So I take a listing workflow, I apply it to 1621 Irving, and then I'll just be really optimistic. An hour later, I get a new listing at 362 Kenneth, and I apply it to 362 Kenneth, and I can do this all day long.
Okay, one thing that you're doing here that is confusing, by putting the address on there, the 1621 Irving workflow, this is really, this is not a template for a property. This is actually for an open house. So, which you could just have it as...
Yeah, this one, I usually have it, as you can see, I have them more generic, lead gen, open house seller as an example. This one was a specific workflow that I was messing around with, and so that's why it doesn't follow the way I normally name them. Sorry about that.
But definitely, whenever you're creating a workflow, you're taking a template of multiple actions, and she's got 4 activities on this particular workflow. But if you go to your listing, one of your listing escrow,
My listing escrow one is lots of fun.
yeah,
This one has all kinds of groups. I have 62 actions. Um, I'm really proud of this workflow.
yeah,
It's
this
really
is an
detailed.
amazing one. Whenever I looked at this, it's like, wow, she has it. She understands this. One of the things that is built into this is the groups. She's got several things at the top of this list, and each activity can be assigned to a specific group. In that, whenever you go to start that workflow, if there is, in this case, she's got like referral, she's got staging process, the different things. If for some reason she does not have, if she doesn't have a referral at all, she can uncheck that group whenever it goes to start this workflow, uncheck that group, and any activity that is part of that group gets removed. There's one there for loan
Hmm.
process. So if you've got a cash buyer, you don't need all the loan stuff. So you can uncheck any
I've got something
activity.
like I've got something like 12 activities that are just designed to follow up on the loan process. That's 12 activities that don't need to be there for a cash buyer.
Absolutely. And by doing that, you're creating this workflow template, which is different than a template, which is an email template, but the workflow is really a template. It's a skeleton of what you want, and we're using all these milestone dates that allow you to pull those milestone dates from those particular properties and transactions, and they fill in based off of the values in those properties and transactions. So every workflow that you start is custom to that particular property or transaction based off of the dates that you specify. So that's an important one.
Now here's what's really important about this, Mark. When you're when you're a busy real estate agent, my brain kind of explodes after if I've got more than 10 escrows in at any given time, my brain explodes. I know some of you out there are doing 200-300 transactions a year. God bless you. But for me, if I've got more than 10 going on at any time, my brain explodes, right? And so by having just exactly the number of to-dos that need to be done on my list, I'm a lot more focused. If I've got a bunch of to-dos that aren't relevant, so the idea of I've got a transaction, it's a cash transaction, and there's these 12 to-dos that I've got to X off my list, right? They don't apply, so I gotta delete them. That doesn't seem like a big deal. But when you're running 10 escrows all at once, that's 100 items, 120 items that don't need to be on my daily list. Now it's a big deal, right? And so to make my life less chaotic, less dramatic, less hair on fire, I want my lists and I want my dashboard to be as clean as possible, as specific as possible, and as automatic as possible.
Excellent. Excellent. There's a question here. How long have you been using Realvolve, and has it reduced the number of staff that you require?
Oh God, I love answering this question. Okay, so the has it reduced the number of staff? Okay, I'm weird. I think that I should put in infrastructure before I actually grow. So not a good question to ask me. But let me give you an example. I started taking runs at Realvolve in 2014. I finished cracking the code and writing my bigger workflows probably about January of 2014, 2015. And in February, I pretty much had to start from scratch in terms of my people. I started a whole new lead administrator from scratch. I hired a marketing gal that, and then I brought on 2 completely new agents. When I say completely new, one didn't even have a license yet. The other one, the ink wasn't even dry. And I launched my workflows at the same time I started all these new people. And I managed to double my business in 2015. And you've already figured out I'm an OCD control freak. I did the doubling of business with no loss of quality, and I don't like having my hair on fire, so my hair was not on fire last year. So that's what workflows did for my business. And I'm doing way more in each transaction than I wasn't. Like, so here's one: referral non-agent. Okay, we all know that it's a really good idea to communicate with the people who referred the client to you, right? We all know that. And if we're really good, and some of you out there are just this good, you remember to call them maybe when you got the listing, and to maybe call them when you closed escrow to say thank you and send them a little gift certificate or something, right? Okay. Because of these workflows, were able to put into it the sending the referral partner a little letter saying, we're on the market, here's a link to our website, could you share it on Facebook to make your friend feel a lot better? Or we send a letter, we're having an open house this Sunday, why don't you come and take a look at the house, and while you're at it, bring a few of your friends, it'd make your friend Joe feel so great. I mean, who has time to do that? I don't. But I wrote the letter, I stuck it into the workflow, now this letter goes out, I never see it, my administrator does. Isn't that great?
That's excellent. That's excellent. Let's see, let's go to another one here. Are there any generic workflows that you can use to get started? Yes. Can you show them real quick the library? If you go and click on add, the little plus, choose add workflows from the library, and then click continue. On the right-hand side, it'll open up all the different packages. And there are packages here that are public, and there are packages that are premium. The public ones are free. You can install those. You can use them, change them, do whatever you want. Actually, any workflow, once you've installed it, you can make any changes. The premium ones are ones that people have created, and you have to get a code from them. Now, sometimes they will, if we've got some people that are parts of coaching programs, and they give them to their coaching coaching members. Others are ones that you can buy. I know with the Kendyl, the Digs workflows that we've got, those are for sale. We've got some specials going on that. But there are lots of other ones that are in here that are excellent, excellent workflows that other users have created and put into the packages area. Something that you guys can do just as well. If you guys work on workflows and you're very proud of them, they're helping you out and doing the things that you want, you can build a workflow package and put them in here and either make them public, or you can create them as premium, in which case somebody would have to purchase those through you. We don't really do anything. We don't make any money off of that. As far as whenever you're doing that, it's something that you guys would charge them if you want, or give them. Just require a code.
Like the Apple App Store.
Yeah, it's an excellent option for those people that. Now think about this. Which can be scary. Look at how many she's got. What, 18? Is that what, 17 or 18 different workflows, and each of them have, some of them are smaller ones, but some of them have 60, 50, 60 different activities. It takes time, guys. Workflows take time to design. They take time to set up and to hone them in the way you do business. And that's the power of the workflow, is you can create them how you want them. You can take somebody else's workflow and you can manipulate them and change them, use them as a base, and that's great. Some people, that's exactly what they need. But there are some people that have specific things that they do that allows them to give that world-class experience to each of their clients, and they want to do it in a certain way. The workflow allows you to do that. It allows you to set up the way you do business and then apply that workflow to every listing, every transaction, and every lead that comes in, even post, any kind of post-closing follow-up type stuff. You can use a workflow for virtually everything to help organize your day to be able to be more productive. So that is that.
Cool. Any other question?
I do. I sent out a little bit earlier, had a couple of different people ask about it. If you go to our help screen, just go to help if you would. Just make sure that they know, click on the down arrow and choose help. you can search in our help screen for workflow tutorial. Can't just do workflow, but workflow tutorial specifically. And it will show you a list of different things. There's one there called list of merge codes that you can pull up. This is kind of a comprehensive list of, where can I find my merge codes and stuff. She had that document off to the side. You can pull them up, but if you'll look on here, there is a link to the workflow guidebook. Actually, I guess you could have done workflow guidebook. And this is I call it a living document. As I make changes, I put it on there. I do need to update it, but there is a link there for a PDF file down at the bottom, workflow tutorial PDF. This document is what Kendyl used originally to figure out workflows. You want to explain that one?
Yeah, well, I'm just pulling it up. It lives in my Evernote because it's such an important document for me. I'm always looking at it. And so here's what the PDF looks like, and it's 160 pages.
I cut it down some. I kind of created some stuff, so I think there's a newer copy that's a little bit less numbers of pages, but this is it is an awesome handbook. This was my mind whenever I created the workflows, the design of it. I had certain things in mind, and this workflow document takes you through creating it step by step, taking you through some of the mindset of what she talked about. Thinking outside the box of what you do, the mind map, thinking 3D, and I take you through that. It seems a little verbose, but I tried to actually express how to get this into your mind. And the fact that Kendyl took this document and actually did what I wanted to happen was just a testament into what she's created from doing this. Anybody can do it, but it takes time. But I want to make sure that you guys know that this resource is there, that you can use it to really dig deep into what a workflow will do for you. We've got just a few more minutes. I still have a lot of questions here. Susan said that makes sense. Great. Can multiple workflows be assigned to a specific contact and run simultaneously? Absolutely, yes. You can create as many workflows on a contact, a property, or a transaction that you want. And in fact, that's part of the advantage. You can have workflows that branch to other workflows. So as you're doing certain things, you might have a workflow create another workflow, and they both run simultaneously. So that's certainly an important part of this. How much wine did it take? I love that. Maureen wanted to know what that took.
Darling, it takes as much wine as it takes. Really do need to ask. Just go for it, honey. Just go for it.
There you go. Show starting a workflow so they can visualize. Okay, Gary had brought up a question. If you go start a workflow on like a listing, you don't have to go through the whole process, but understanding that groups section, just to make sure.
Understanding the groups.
Start a workflow on a listing, a new listing, so that they can.
Oh, you want me to actually launch one?
Launch one.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Yeah, all right. So, let's take a list. Let's take a listing. Let's go here. I need to make sure my staff hasn't already launched it. No, they already launched it. How about? Okay, let's go with something that is. Sorry, guys. Wasn't expecting this one.
Sorry.
Stand by.
And you don't have to launch it all the way, just so that it gets to that point, the very first part.
Right. Okay, so we're going to start a workflow. If you're in my marketing area, you just got a sneak peek. listing marketing. So we're going to go next. All right, so here is the different groups. We have some California requirements. This is not City of Los Angeles, it's Glendale, so I'm going to uncheck that. It's not City of Pasadena, uncheck that. We are not a condo, uncheck that. And this was not referred to me. So we uncheck all of those things. So as you can see, since I unchecked referral, here's some of the activities. And this was a referral activity, and it is now unchecked. We're not going to have it anymore. Theoretically, on this setup, you could go through all 64 of the various to-dos that I have in my listing marketing, and you can decide granularly, item by item, which ones do you want to keep and which ones you don't. I don't have the patience for that, but you could. Okay? Then you hit next, and now we have our roles. So this is a great thing. When you build the workflow, you can either specify the who. Remember I talked about who? You could specify the who as a person in your organization, or a much better idea is your role. Okay? So the reason that's important is that people are going to change in your business as you grow. You might add more people to your business, and somebody might grow into a different position and you replace them with somebody else. So all you do is when you launch the workflow, because remember it's a template, it can change with each one. My listing coordinator is Simone. My assistant is Simone. She works really hard. She needs a raise. And then the marketing assistant is, she does, and she knows that. And the marketing assistant is Hannah, right? So we changed those, and now those people are going to get the to-dos that are assigned to that role in their dashboard when it's supposed to be done. Then you can adjust your milestone dates, right? So when are we going to be on the multiple list? When is the photography going to be done? You might know this when you trigger the workflow. You might not. I don't know these things yet, so I'm not going to put them in yet. And then again, you can adjust the dates of all of the to-dos here if you want to. I ain't got time for that, so I usually just adjust them on the fly. Okay, and then you hit next, and we can put in our roles. Is the photographer still Cameron Crothers? Why, yes, it still is. So there you go. This is seller 2, seller 1. These are people who is going to be involved in the various things. So all of these things can be adjusted with each property that you apply this workflow to, or you can just go with standard operating procedure. Then when you hit done, it will create all these activities and you are good to go. Okay?
And the key there is to make sure you understand the workflow template, that the original template that we're creating placeholders for all of this information. We're creating placeholders for the dates, for the people, for the coordinators. All of those are templated out so that whenever you go to start this workflow for this particular property or transaction, those dates, those people, those roles are filled in at the point at which you start that workflow, and then everything's customized for that particular property or transaction, and it frees up that time. And creating those groups that whether it's in Pasadena or not, whatever, that helps eliminate any of those activities in that workflow prior to starting it, so you don't have to deal with some of those that don't qualify. So excellent.
Mark, I gotta jump in here. I really have to bounce because I gotta get to this listing appointment.
Thank you so much for your time. And if anybody has other things, certainly come visit us on the web, send us emails. We do want to know if any of you guys are utilizing Realvolve in a way that that you want to share with others. Give us an email. We would love to interview you and take you through and let you share with the community as well. So we appreciate your time, Kendyl. Thank you so much. And don't get a ticket on your way to your appointment.
No, what you're supposed to say, go get the listing, man.
Well, go get that listing too. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right, so if there's anything else, I'm going to try to answer these questions, and if you've got any other questions, certainly email me. And if I miss you, I apologize. We've got a ton of questions on here, but we'll try to answer them before we go on. So have a great day. Hope this was helpful.